Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to the Karnataka Bank Limited Q1 FY22 earnings conference call hosted by Monarch Networth Capital Limited. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode, and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then zero on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Alok Shah from Monarch Networth Capital Limited. Thank you, and over to you, Alok.
Yeah, thanks, Ali. Good evening to all. On behalf of Monarch Networth, we welcome you for Karnataka Bank's Q1 FY22 earnings con call. From the bank side today, we have their MD and CEO, Mr. Mahabaleshwara MS, the COO, Mr. Balchandran YG, the CFO, Mr. Muralidhar Krishnan Rao, and the CBO, Mr. Gopaldas Pai, and other senior management team. Without taking much of your time, I would request Mahabaleshwara sir for his initial comment, post which we can take the Q&A session. Thank you, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Alok, and good afternoon to all of you, and thank you very much for your participation. As in the past, this quarter also posed many challenges, especially in the areas of growth management, asset quality management, employee health management, etc. Nevertheless, in spite of the tough situation, Karnataka Bank remained profitable. As far as the growth is concerned, we have been able to reverse the negative trend as our June position has improved compared to the March position of 2021. So there is a positive traction both in the advances side as well as in the deposit side. However, going forward, I am confident that especially during this second quarter of the current financial year, there will be a significant improvement as the NTB customers credit inquiry is on the increase. Now, as far as the asset quality is concerned, it has also further improved, as could be seen from the NPA numbers, both in absolute term as well as in percentage term, and also in gross NPA as well as net NPA. You all might have seen the detailed analysis that we have uploaded in our website, wherein the gross NPA was at 4.91% as of March 21, and now it is at 4.82%. During March 21, in absolute numbers, it was at 2,588.41 crores, and now it has slightly improved to 2,549.06 crores. About a year back, this was at 2,557.64 crores, and of course, percentage-wise, it was 4.64%. As far as the net NPA is concerned, it was at 3.18%, that is sequential previous quarter, that is March 21, and now it is at 3%. In terms of absolute numbers, it is at 1,642.10 crores, and now it is at 1,552.95 crores. About a year back, that is as of June 20, the net NPA was at 3.01%, and in terms of absolute numbers, it was at 1,630.65 crores. So as a result, the slippage ratio, which was at 2.25% as of March 2021, you may be aware of the fact that there was a standstill clause for the first 3 quarters, and as a result, all the NPAs were recognized during March 21, and hence the slippage ratio was also higher at 2.25. Nevertheless, as against that, the slippage ratio for the current quarter is 0.83%. We had a gross slippage of 414.24 crores during this current quarter, as against March 21, 1,175.92 crores. And as against this 414.24 crores, the reduction is 453.58 crores. Of that, recovery it is 270.38 crores, and technical write-off is 180.82 crores. And the credit cost also remained at a lower level of 0.45% during this current quarter, whereas in the previous quarter it was 0.67%, and 1 year back it was at 0.80%. So provision coverage ratio has also further improved to 72.24% from 70.05% as of March 21 and 67.93% as of June 20. Of course, our capital adequacy ratio is at 14.58%, excluding the current quarter profit. If the current quarter profit is also taken into account, it would be 14.79%. And of course, stress is measured not only in terms of the NPA, but also in terms of the SMA accounts. The SMA 1 account, during March 21, it was 2,181 crores, and it remained at almost same level, that is 2,608 crores as of June 21. SMA 2, March 21, 1,393 crores, and as of June 21, it is 2,246. So when we say SMA 1 and SMA 2, it includes all types of accounts, that is the borrower-wise. That means both the main account as well as the related accounts, and below 5 crores, also above 5 crores. Here, during the current season, you may be aware that the entire country was under the lockdown, and only during the last 15 days of the quarter, that is the first quarter, the lockdown was gradually relaxed, and we had limited time for the renewal of the working capital. So in the SMA 2 portfolio, if you make a further analysis, almost 50% of that is on account of non-renewal at that particular point of time, which was subsequently renewed. So, and we had limited time also, both the restructuring and the renewal related accounts. So that is the reason why there is a slight increase in case of SMA 2 compared to March 21 and June 21. But now the position is almost at the March 21 level. And further, as far as the profitability is concerned, operating profit has gone up by 7.96% compared to the previous sequential quarter. And year-on-year basis, there is a decline to an extent of 38.82%. This is mainly on account of the reduction in the trading profit. Last year, for a current quarter, we had trading profit of 355.37 crores, whereas in the current quarter, it is only 25.34 crores. So in spite of that, the operating profit is down by just 38.82% on year-on-year basis, whereas on quarter-to-quarter, sequential quarter, it is up by 7.96%. Similar trend is also observed in net profit, whereas March 21, our net profit was 31.36 crores, and June 21, it is 106.08 crores, compared to 196.38 crores about a year back, that is June 20. So year-on-year variation is minus 45.98%, whereas quarter-to-quarter variation is plus 238.28%. Then digital areas, the digital transactions, which was at 90% as of March 21, has further improved to 91.63%. And retail digital underwriting, in almost all areas, it is having a positive traction. And KBL Vikas 2.0, that is the KBL Next initiative to emerge as the digital bank of the future, that is also, that particular initiative is also very much on traction. Further, our own wholly owned subsidiary, that is KBL Services Limited. So that is also now effectively functioning. So our departments have started indenting for the business associates because KBL Services is going to help us in cost-efficient business support area. So that is the business support as well as the cost effectiveness. That is the main objective of KBL Services Limited. And going forward, I am very confident that it will be a win-win model for both Karnataka Bank as well as for our subsidiary in having a cost-effective banking model as such. Then in yesterday's board meeting, the board also discussed about the need for the capital augmentation, especially through QIP model, wherein a few suitable institutional investors likely to be onboarded, and it has already we have already indicated that up to 15 crores equity shares. To that extent, we may think of QIP, but definitely not in one tranche or so. The timing, tranche size, etc., it will be decided after the conclusion of our AGM, which is scheduled for 2nd of September 2021. And going forward, definitely the priority for the bank, the growth management and the asset quality management. And on both the front, I am very much optimistic because the growth momentum has already taken off during the first quarter of the current financial year. Asset quality concern is also effectively addressed, and hence the net interest income, NII, which has shown a robust 25.19% growth during this quarter, and year on year also it is positive at 7.41%. Definitely it is going to be further improved, number one. Number two, NIM also. It was at 2.41% as of March 21, as against 2.89% as of June 20. Now it is at 2.98%. So our dream, as I in the past also had mentioned while interacting with you people, our first effort is to level of 3% and above. I'm seeing that is not too far as far as the current year's performance is concerned. Definitely we should be able to achieve the NIM at a very reasonable level, the expected level in the very near future. So with these few opening remarks, so let us open this session for the interactions. Over to you, the operator.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one on the attached phone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and two. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. First question is from the line of Rajat Jain, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thank you for the time. I have a couple of questions. Your results are pretty decent compared to what other banks have reported, but the stock price is not reflecting that. I've been holding, your company shares in the last 2-3 years, but the stock fails to perform. Is the management looking proactively to, address this issue?
That performance is in my hand. Stock movement is neither in my hand nor in your hand. So, but I'm definitely optimistic. I'm also sharing my concern with you also. So going forward, apart from improving the fundamentals, improving the growth story, because as you have rightly pointed out, the asset quality is one thing which really stands out compared to almost all other banks which have announced the result.
Correct.
So in that area, I'm very confident there is no sudden, unexpected surprises going forward also. And in fact, all the big ticket advances of 100 crores and above, adequate provision is already made, and I'm not seeing any stress in that sector of my advances also. So that being the case, coupled with the board has also now decided to go for the QIP. So when a few of the institutional investors are onboarded, I'm sure that the stock market is likely to respond positively. Let us be optimistic. We are all working towards that only.
Thank you. Participants are requested to limit their questions to one per participant. Time permitting, you may come back in the queue for a follow-up. The next question is from the line of Sudhir Mahajan, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Congratulations. I'm very happy with the result.
Thank you.
We could do better, and I'm sure we will do better under your leadership.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sir, but this enabling resolution on this capital expansion, I hope it's not going to be at the expense of existing shareholders by onboarding people at at 0.3, 0.4 of the book value. Number one. And maybe if you could talk about that, it would be nice, and then I could ask you the second question.
Yeah. No, please continue with your second question as well. Sudhirji.
Sir, I would like you to talk about the digital thing, what we are trying to aim, and what have we achieved, and maybe if you have benchmarked with any of the other banks, and where are we compared to, say, ICICI or Kotak or someone in that digital journey?
Okay. So first one is your apprehension regarding onboarding of the institutional investors such a low book, price of 0.3 price to book. Yes, that is a call which we have to take really, because without the digital, the onboarding of the institutional investors, what would be the share price movement? Because in the past we have seen that in spite of the sustainable and consistent good result, the share market has not reacted favorably in favor of our investors. So this was also deliberated at length in various forums also, because if you look at the investors' profile in the shareholding of Karnataka Bank, the institutional investors' amount, that share, is a little bit on the lower side. So compared to the other peer groups. So considering that, we may have to take a call. That is why I said the timing and the tranche size would be decided by the board in due course by duly taking care of the interest of all the stakeholders. That is number one. Second one is digital journey. In the past also, I have made it very clear about the thought process at Karnataka Bank. See, the current century, the first decade, it belonged to all about the core banking solution, wherein Karnataka Bank was one of the pioneers in adopting the core banking solution in its early period itself. The second decade of the current century, it all belongs to the alternate delivery channel, wherein a lot many mobile banking, internet banking, POS, and ATM related services got expanded. And definitely the third decade of the current century, it belongs to digital underwriting of the loan. So considering that in our KBL Vikas transformation journey, we had laid a solid foundation towards this digital journey. And not only that, this digital initiative is going to drive the banking as far as the third decade of the current century is concerned. So from that angle, we had already started our digital center of excellence at Bengaluru, and the asset underwriting has started. And in each and every areas of banking, may it be the banking products of the business departments or even the banking solutions of the support department, we want to have an end-to-end digital solution. So keeping that in mind, we have started our KBL Vikas 2.0 under the concept of KBL Next. So now your question is, how are you going to benchmark with the leader, the so-called leader? You have named a few banks. Definitely going forward, the bank's digital journey would not only compare well with these well-established leaders in the bank, and I am also confident that in few of the areas, we are going to create a new benchmark in the digital journey. That is the confidence and the preparedness that Karnataka Bank has at present. Yes, this is an area where all the banks are catching up. I am very well aware of that, but you can be assured that your bank will not lag behind as far as the digital initiatives are concerned. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Suraj Das from B&K Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello, hi sir. Thanks for taking my question. So the first question is, sir, roughly if you can give us some color on the slippages breakup that has happened in this quarter, which is roughly around 400 odd crores. So what are the primary segments here?
In that, one second. Yeah. See, agriculture slippage is around 43.25 crores. And CRE, this residential housing is 6.81 crores. Education 1.64 crores. And housing, that is housing loans around 58 crores. Then mortgage loans around 18.45 crores. MSMEs around 255.46 crores. And vehicle loans around 10.67 crores. And all others 3.95 and personal loans 7.18. All put together around 409.67 crores. And all these slippages are in the below 50 crores category. No, not a single account slips in the ticket size of above 50 crores.
Okay, understood, sir. And the same on the restructuring side, so roughly in this quarter we have, restructured additional something around 1,000 crores. So again, what are the major contributors here?
Yeah.
And sir, also,
during this quarter, the restructuring is 924 crores. It was about below 1.80% of our total loan book. In fact, last time during the con call, I remember that we are expecting. I remember that I have mentioned we are expecting the restructuring in the range of around 5 to 6%. But this restructuring exercise is not yet over. You may be aware that we have time for invocation of restructuring up to September 21, and by December 21, this exercise has to be completed. And going forward, there is in the past also our experience is that people preferred for repayment than the restructuring option. So I'm optimistic that trend would continue, and of course, definitely it would be well within the original guesstimate.
so that is roughly around 5-6% you are estimating it. The total restructuring to be in that range.
Under the restructuring framework 2 of Reserve Bank of India.
Okay. So under resolution 2.0. Got it.
We are actually, 1 minute. We are closely watching. In fact, on day-to-day basis, I am also getting the digital dashboard. We are closely watching the position of the restructured advances. and the SMA portfolio as well as the NPA. So that type of strict oversight is put in place, and that is the result. I should say that that is the result because not only me, all the top executives, even the regional heads get this data, and immediate action also follow. It is not that once it slipped to NPA, we are getting the data. About 10 days in advance also, early warning system, that mechanism is also there. So that is why effective monitoring is there. And definitely it is going to help us a lot in containing the stress in the portfolio.
Okay, sir. Okay, understood. Sir, we had exposure to one of the large coffee accounts as well. So if you can update us about the status of that account.
Yeah, our during this quarter, during the third month and the fourth month, there has been a recovery of around 17 crores. So even though we had provided 100% for that particular account, 17 crores recovery is there. And within another 2 to 4 months, there is an indication that that entire amount is going to be recovered. We have adequate security for also for that. But we are confident that some things are moving in right direction. So I'm expecting full recovery within another 2 to 3 months period.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Shubhankar Roja from SKS Capital. Please
This
go
call
ahead.
is now being recorded.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Hello, Shubhankar.
Yeah.
The call recording has now ended.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you're audible now.
Yeah, thanks. Just wanted to get a sense of this board resolution of issuance of up to 15 crore shares. So this is almost 30% dilution roughly. So are you ready for a board seat? In that case, with such a large dilution.
Yeah, first one is the 15 crores is the upper limit.
Upper limit, yeah.
We can't frequently go to the age.
Yeah, so that will be on a fully diluted, it will be almost 30% plus.
Yeah, so this is the upper limit. The chances of going for the full 15 crores may not be there. But as a safety enabling provision, that is made. And the terms and conditions, I don't think we can discuss on this platform because at appropriate time, depending on the mutual acceptability and all such things. See, as I said, the guiding principle for us is the stakeholders' value creation. So from that,
it seems the line for the management is disconnected. Please allow me a moment to reconnect. Participants, you are requested to stay connected while we reconnect the management. The line for the management is reconnected. Sir, you may please go ahead.
Yeah. See, what I was referring is keeping in mind the larger interest of all the stakeholders, bank will take a call at appropriate time. So all the terms and conditions of the QIP, whatever it may be, so it will be able, through that we will be able to protect the interest of all.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pooja Ahuja from Monarch Networth Capital Limited. Please go ahead.
Hello. Yes, thanks for the opportunity. So firstly, wanted to understand, on the restructuring, what kind of provisions we have made on the restructured portfolio, and in general, in the past, what percentage of the restructured book have you seen slipping into NPA?
Yeah,
that's my first question.
In the past, see, this time while attempting restructuring, we have taken abundant precaution to ensure that only those accounts which fulfill the requirement of the restructuring framework 2 and which are really going to be viable, we have taken utmost care of restructuring that only. That is the reason why we have seen about 414 crores slippage during the current year. So which are not viable and where we are not sure, we have not gone for the restructuring. Keeping that in mind, the future slippage from the restructure could be minimum, even though at present this is in the range of 9 to 10% as of now. And as far as your second question, first part of your question, the provision held for the restructuring. So at present we have 432.38 crores. This much of provision we are holding. This amounts to 16.10% of the total restructured portfolio. The restructured portfolio, it was at 1,738.41 crores as of March 21. And the current restructuring added together, the total restructuring portfolio is 2,685. So our restructuring provision for that is 16.10%.
Right. So on your SMA 1 and SMA 2 book, so historically, what percentage of that has normally slipped to NPA? If you could throw some light there.
Do we have the number? No, slippage is from SMA 2 generally. So right now I don't have the number, ma'am. Let me look into that also.
Okay. Also, my last question was on your CASA, sir. Just some sense on where do we see CASA book growing and what CASA percentage are we targeting? Do we have any number in mind?
Yeah, CASA, it is at 30.82%. Our original target was to first 30% that we had already crossed comfortably. Going forward, it should be in the range of 33 to 35%. Now, because this government business provision is also made available to the private sector banks also. So we are in a position to encash that opportunity. So it will get further consolidated. My rough estimation is that it could be in the range of 33 to 35% in a couple of years. Present growth rate, how much? 14% is the present CASA growth rate.
Right.
14.06% YOY.
Yes, sir. So that's it from mine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rishikesh from Robo Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello. Hi, sir. Sir, my question was if you could please give guidance on credit cost for this year and next year on an absolute terms.
Credit, we are expecting to grow at above 15% because during this particular quarter, that is the Q1 of the FY22, we have seen positive traction in the credit side. And I'm optimistic that the credit growth will further pick up in the remaining 9 months period. So that is why we are optimistic of 15% plus growth.
Oh, so my question was related to credit cost.
Credit cost, not credit growth. Okay. Credit cost would remain because last year for the entire year it was 2.37%. So it should be below 2% during the current quarter, the current year.
Okay, and next year, sir?
Next year, let us discuss during the next first quarter.
Okay, no problem.
It may show the this trend which is coming down also. It may not go up. Yeah.
Okay. So, sir, around, if we can say below to around 1,000 crore, 1,100 crores type of provisions you are saying?
Yeah, percentage-wise, it could be like that. It would be below 1,000 crores.
Okay. Okay. That will do, sir. That will. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Priyadarshi Srivastava from Monarch Networth Capital. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I wanted to know what is the growth that you see in the retail and SME space, sir?
Yeah, see, retail, the growth rate for the current financial year, we have seen a growth rate of 4.58% in retail and 4.49% in the mid-corporate sector. Growth rate, especially in this area, that is the retail up to 5 crores and the mid-corporates in between 5 to 100 crores, will get further moved to double digit during the current second quarter. And that is why I said we will be focusing more on these two sectors rather than the large corporates. And here also the areas that what we have selected is the MSMEs. So an year-on-year growth of 20.76%. And of course, the gold loan, which has shown a growth of 40.81%. And the equipment loans to the contractors, which has seen a growth of 32.42%. And also the agricultural advances, which has shown 4.09%. So these are the areas which are likely to contribute significantly going forward also. So as I said, definitely current year, the credit growth could be in the range of 15% plus.
Okay, thank you, sir. And sir, what is your call on the provision? How much accelerated provisions are created, sir?
Yeah, accelerated provision we have been making since the last 2 to 3 years. That is the reason why our provision coverage ratio has improved to 72.24%. And again, this is an all-time high. And since the operating profit is likely to keep the current trend of moving northwards, we will also accelerate the provision as the need be, and so as to have a healthy provision coverage ratio, still to further improve it. So that is the reason why I said the credit cost could be in the range of 2%. Otherwise, if you just look into the slippages and provide the provision, the credit cost would not be in that range. But we still want to improve the provision coverage ratio or even maintain at this level. That could be the sole reason. So going forward, these numbers would still look attractive.
Okay. And thank you very much, sir, and all the best for the future.
Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone phone. Next question is from the line of Riya from CG Philip. Please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, sir. I just wanted more have been included in the restructuring book this time.
Madam, can you please repeat your question? In between slightly there was disturbance.
Yeah. So I wanted more color on the restructuring book, as in what have been included in the restructuring book.
One second, ma'am. Mainly, no. One second. One second, ma'am. One second. Yeah. See, restructured our, as I said, the opening balance was 1,738.41 and now it is 2,685. The major areas of restructuring, which are areas? One is MSME, retail and small business. That is the major area. So sector-wise, right now I don't have. But this is mainly from the and one major account in the large corporate. It was in the trading sector, about 300 crores plus. That was the restructure in the major large corporate. That was the only account. Apart from that, all in the areas of retail and mid corporates one. Yeah. 900 plus crores total.
That is in retail?
Mainly from retail and mid corporates.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 at this time. Next question is from the line of Alok Shah from Monarch Network. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Sir, a couple of questions from my side before I hand it to some of the other participants. We've seen some of the banks struggle with their gold loan portfolio, especially in terms of NPAs. What has been your experience here? That's my first question, sir. And can I take up the other questions as well, sir, before?
Please.
The second question, sir, here is that you've talked about 400 odd crores of slippages. And if I understand that right, none of that slippages are from accounts above 50 crores of exposure. So that goes to show that it's more granular in nature. Would that be the right understanding?
Correct.
Okay. And third, yes, sir. Please, sir.
See, as far as gold loan is concerned, in that particular sector, our NPA as well, that is the slippage, NPA is at 0.34% of the portfolio. So here
right.
What happens once the NPA happens, the recovery as well as the auction, it takes about 2 to 3 months. That is why NPA percent is at the bare minimum level. And we also have this system of regular follow-up. Once the account flips to stress category, then immediately the parties are contacted and account is recovered. So if even after 90 days, if it remains as overdue, then we go for the auctioning process. So it is very much under control as far as the gold loan portfolio is concerned.
So, sir, basically what we've been hearing from some of the neighbor banks in the regions of your operation is that they have been facing a lot of challenges on the gold loan portfolio, significant increase in NPA. And what I understand here is that that's not the picture with in case of Karnataka Bank.
Yeah. See, here two things. One is as far as maintaining the LTV, and it's a follow-up, regular follow-up.
Right.
So we are keeping a close tab on the LTV breaches, if any, and appropriate corrective measure is initiated then and there.
Okay.
The second one is our ETB customers as well as the NTB customers.
Okay.
So ETB customers, we know their history. And the NTB customers, these are all the new customers, and we have a separate follow-up mechanism for them also. So
okay.
Then the portfolio, as I said, even though it is growing the percent plus rate as of now, 40.81%, we are very optimistic of its health. That is why we are determined to take it to a level of 10% of our overall loan book. Now it is at around 5.5%. So that is the reason why we are optimistic on that particular portfolio.
So,
you may be aware of the fact that about 48% of our branches are in the rural and semi-urban area, where there is very good growth for the gold loans. So that we are now properly utilizing that opportunity to grow the loan book.
Sure. Okay. That helps me, sir. Sir, so my next question here is that you talked about credit cost as a guidance for FY22. With the kind of run rate on slippages that we have seen, would you want to put a number to it on the slippages front for FY22?
FY22, someone made an estimation, no? It could be in the range of 1,000 to 1,100, something like that.
Okay.
So going forward, I think definitely that would be a number definitely worth achieving. Less than that, let us see.
So that helps. That helps. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. A reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and one at this time. The next question is from the line of Yash Tantavadia, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I just have a couple of questions and a couple of suggestions, but I'll just start. I just heard about this coffee account. Can I know the full value of the coffee account that you are optimistic on recovering?
Please repeat.
You just the speaker, one of the question people just asked about the coffee account.
Correct.
Yeah. What is the total exposure of the coffee account that you are optimistic on recovering?
Recovery 100% is expected. We have already recovered 17 crores during the M3 and M4 of the current year. And within another 2 to 3 months, we are optimistic of recovering the full amount.
Yeah. What is the full amount?
This is having about 120. It was having about 120 crores exposure. So
okay.
Now in the range of 113. No, 103. 103.
Yeah. So also you have met a lot of institutional investors. So what has been their response and what are their concerns on this time?
Response is quite positive. That is why we want to go ahead with that. They are all very happy about the fundamentals of the bank. So they have many of them have even started making their own due diligence as per the information available in the public domain. So that is why we will take a call at appropriate.
Also, are there any plans of Karnataka Bank entering into the credit card business?
We are co-branded credit card. We are already into that. We have tied up with the State Bank of India, and since the last 2 years we are issuing a credit card. And
so how is
the card base has already nearing a lakh.
Okay. Also on the gold loan front, how are you planning to expand on that? Because I'm seeing a very big gold loan opportunity, especially in rural India right now.
Sir, about 1.5 years back, our gold loan was in the range of 2.5% to 3%. Now it has already crossed 5% of the loan book. And in a couple of years, most probably by June 2022 itself, we will be able to take it to a level of minimum 10%. That is as far as the growth is concerned. But equally important for us is its quality. So considering the stress in the general economy, we are keeping a close watch on it. That is why we are trying our level best to ensure that all the gold advances are well within the LTV and they are properly serviced and the stress is totally minimized. Stress as well as the slippages. And during the first quarter, we have been able to adhere to that. I have forwarded the system that whatever that we have put in place, both for gold loan sanction as well as the gold loan monitoring. I'm sure we are moving in the right direction.
Also, this time when I saw the results of Mahindra and Bajaj Finance, they had a lot of stress on their car loans, auto loans. Are you facing, what percentage of your book is on auto loans and what kind of stress are you seeing there?
In the car loan, we have 3.32% NPA. And of course, it is constituting the car loan portfolio as such, it is constituting 2.32% of our GBC. So, as I said, in all the sectors, not only in the car loan, even if you look into the housing loan or even the MSME sector or the mortgage loan, the stress appears to be very much under control. both in terms of slippage as well as in SME accounts.
Okay. This quarter there's been some tax adjustment. That's why the net profit has come to 106. Can you explain that?
Sir, please repeat your question.
This quarter has been a tax expense adjustment. That's why the net profit has come to 106 crores. Can you explain that?
Yeah, because what we have done is that we have done a 230 crores provision for NPA. We have also done around 182 crores write-off, and standard advance provision has also been done. So all these three are eligible for deduction under the Income Tax Act. Total these three sum together works out to 500 crores. So if you get a deduction of that, income tax deduction is available, and hence there is a write back of tax.
Okay. Also, one more question, sir. The book value of your bank is, I think, around 216 to 217 rupees right now, right?
Yeah,
book value.
Yeah.
207.
Yeah. So the stock is trading, as of today's closing, it's trading at 0.26 of price to book value ratio.
Okay.
So I just had actually Money Control. If you're aware of an application called Money Control, they're displaying the book value as 39.41 rupees only. So I just wanted you to take a note of that, because I have already emailed them several times, but there has been no response.
Yeah, we'll take it. Sorry. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Suraj Das from BNK Securities. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. So it's just a follow-up question. So, sir, you said in this quarter you had roughly around 6.81 crores slippages in the CRE book. So, can I get the corresponding exposure of the CRE book? Because last quarter, if I remember it correctly, it was something around 2,200 crore. So, what is the loan book here in this quarter?
1 second. CRE. Commercial real estate. Commercial real estate loan book size is 4,924 crores.
4,135 crores.
24 crores, which is constituting around 9.31% of the GBC.
Okay. So the book has almost doubled, QOQ basis. Because last quarter, based on the last quarter disclosure, the CRE book was at 2,177 crore, and right now it is 4,935 crore.
No.
So has been a reclassification or some sort of that?
That was LRD. That is lease rental discount. That may be what you are referring to. LRD. That was LRD. But what was our this commercial real estate last time? Commercial real estate. 1 second. Here it was last June. I'll tell you. See, what you are referring is the lease rental discount. But this commercial real estate for the current quarter, so this is, last March 21, it was 4,923.72. It is at the same level, almost at the same level.
Okay, sir, fair enough. Got it. And sir, I actually missed the last point of the slippages breakup. So you said 10.67 crores from which segment? If you can repeat that slippages breakup again once again.
10.64 crores I didn't tell. Now today, 10.67 is vehicle loans. Various vehicle loans. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Srinivas Rao from Karnataka Bank. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. Good evening. This is Srinivas from Hyderabad.
Yeah. Yes, Srinivas.
What is the bottom line guidance for FY22? Bottom line profit.
So it could be at the same level because you have to factor in the treasury income that we got during the last year. So if it is on the same line, then there could be a very significant jump in the bottom line. Otherwise, it could be on the same line because it is too early to project the bottom line as of now. We are focusing on the operational efficiency, the operating profit and other things. So that is the major factor which we have to factor in, the gains from the treasury operations.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Joy M from BNK. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi sir. Sir, I am on your slide number wherein you have declared the rating of the accounts. And so one second, so let me just go to that slide. Yeah, slide number 26. Okay. External rating of your accounts.
Correct.
So here, sir, it looks like, sorry, not this one. The top 50, you had shared one slide on top 50 borrowers, right?
Correct.
It looks like, so AAA 8 numbers, AA 6, A 6.
Correct.
So it looks like the 8 plus 6 plus 6, 20 borrowers are A rating or above. The 21st borrower is BBB rated. Right? I mean, you only have 20 borrowers which are A or above. Is that right? Or, I mean, the 21st borrower is from BBB category. And your 34th borrower is actually BB rated. Is that right, or there is some error here?
No, see, we have totally 33 borrowers under the BBB and above rated, and out of that 50, and the balance 4 borrowers are BB, B, C, D, and the 13 borrowers are not with external rating. But all the top 50 borrowers are in standard category as of June 21. Whereas in the of that, one account was NPA last time. This time, not even single account is NPA under that category. Not only that, even SMA2 is also not there.
Understood. Okay. So that is
why we are disclosing all these things is, in the past you may be aware of the fact that we have been slightly overexposed to the large advances, large corporates, and we were closely tracking the health of these corporates also. So that is why now if you look into this, so it constitutes around less than 15% of our total loan book, top 50. And the stress is also not there, not a single account is NPA. And as of now, all the accounts are performing. And AAA rated, we are slightly exiting from that particular sector, mainly because the yield is not up to the expected level. That is the only reason. So we are little more concentrating on the BBB, A and AA without compromising the quality.
Understood, sir. And second, in terms of your daily recognition, so there was an RBI circular which said that starting from June onwards, all banks will have to migrate to daily recognition of NPA across all loans. Were you already there on daily NPA even for agri and smaller loans, or you have migrated in this quarter?
Sir, we are one of the few banks which have 100%, which are 100% compliant to that particular sector circular. Not only as of June 21, but about 5 years back itself.
Oh.
So
Great, sir.
We have introduced this system of daily recognition of NPA and daily marking. Not only that, even the provision requirement, migration of provision, everything is automated. And this is being followed very scrupulously at Karnataka Bank since last 5 years, more than 5 years.
Even for, agri loans and even small value loans.
100% of the credit portfolio. 100%
Great, sir.
credit portfolio.
Great, sir. And last thing on SMA, sir. So clearly you have given lot more details that, currency platform, let's say if I look at the SMA2, then the total number is 2,200, but the above 5 crores is 450 crores only. Do you suspect a weakness in the, below 5 crores loan because considering the recovery is still low, the monitoring would still be low, and hence you may not have much visibility on the health of these, smaller value loans. Can that be a risk in terms of slippages? These loans slipping?
See, we have a very clear granular details on each of these loans. See, as long as they continue in our loan book, we don't differentiate between a small loan as well as a big loan. So the equal amount of effort and attention is being given for all those loans. And I am very confident of the quality of the loan book. There is no big concern because we have a daily impact center meeting at all level. At the branch level, we have the huddle meeting. At the controlling office level, we have the daily impact center meeting, which starts at 9:45 a.m. every day, wherein each and every business aspect, including the collection, everything is discussed. And I am also part of that discussion. These are all the daily things that is happening. We also have the digital dashboard for all these things. So these are all the silent revolution that has happened in Karnataka Bank, because we thought that this is how would help us in developing a strong portfolio.
Right. All the best. Thank you, sir, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Alok Shah for closing comments.
Thank you, Mahabaleshwara sir, and their entire team, for taking out your time and putting forward the thoughts on the results and the digital platform which has been put in place by the bank. Really appreciate that, sir. Thank you all for joining in. You may now disconnect. Have a great evening. Thank you, Mahabaleshwara sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for your kind participation, keen participation, and please take care of all those COVID-19 related health guidelines, and all the best to each one of you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of Monarch Networth Capital Limited, that concludes this conference call for today. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your lines.